The cold air creeps into the night. The smell of gingerbread in the kitchen. These are all the things to make you think. Krampus is coming to town, and on today's video, we are going to do a commentary on the Orlando edition of Krampus. So this was sort of a video idea sprung up by Scott over at SoCal Exploring. Thank you, Scott, for the shout out, and thank you for, I guess, the lateral pass. I guess we're gonna call that. But so he did the commentary over on the Hollywood edition. If you want to see that video, will be at the end as well in the description box. So we are going to tackle the Orlando version. I'm going to give my thoughts about it, do a little commentary on it, and tell you guys a little bit of whatever I can, whatever I remember about this maze. So just something to note, and a lot of people always wondered this, Orlando doesn't let you film anything in houses unless you are media or unless you have some kind of given right from Universal to film in the houses. It's not like in Hollywood where you can kind of get away with filming in the houses. They don't allow that here, and they only allow you when you are media. You can only film, you can pretty much film all the houses, but you can only post, I believe it's like 2 or 3 of the houses, and you can only do like highlights. You can't do a full POV walkthrough of the house. So this is just highlights from Krampus. This is brought to us by the Diz, very, very popular theme park channel. If you don't know them, you should. So the opening, if you didn't know, this was in the Shrek building. Shrek building has had some success. It's a big, soundstage type of house. It's not a full soundstage because what they do is they actually take the Shrek theater and they take out all of the seats, and then they basically cue you in through some of the theater part and some of the actual queue line space. So they're able to do that because Shrek, well, it's not like it's hitting capacity numbers. So yeah, so just FYI, if you didn't know, it's kind of cool because when you're in the house at certain times, you can look up and see certain parts of the Shrek, like queue in some parts of the theater. So it's kind of cool. So inside, you walk through the house. It's got that very home feel. I love that. I love the beginning of this. So it really sets you up into the Krampus feel, obviously. We had these really big, weird troll type characters, and then you head outside. That was kind of a nice transition from the house to the outside, and I believe you go outside multiple times in this house. And there's snowmans. Those parts were pretty terrifying. Hollywood had those as well. And then obviously the smell of gingerbread. They had like these little like air hose gun things, which I don't like anytime they do that in the house. But we actually had some other scares thrown in there as well. And then we transitioned into the attic scene, which I thought was really cool. I love seeing the puppet. I love the puppet in here. It's not really a puppet because it was a character, but I still like seeing it. I'll just say right there, that scare tactic is so lame because they've used that over and over again. It's kind of like how Hollywood jokes about certain things like the Black Wall or certain like big oversized scare things that they use over and over again. That thing has been used in like The Walking Dead, then it transitioned from Krampus, and then I think it might have been in like 2 or 3 other houses. You've seen that same thing. It's just a bunch of static things on like a trolley type system, and it just and that's what it does. It's just not a good scare. Yeah, so I like the little troll type creatures that we got them spread or throughout the house. The one thing I will say about our house versus Hollywood is Krampus is not really in here a whole lot. That's kind of the downfall. He is in here towards the end, or at least the second part of the house, which this is really kind of cool, because this is where the difference of Orlando and Hollywood. Orlando kind of dove a little bit deeper. So the first part of the house was the actual house. It was like the movie. And then we transition into Krampus's lair, which is kind of cool because that's kind of something they didn't explore in the movie, in that you get to kind of dive a little deeper beyond the movie. So I like when they do that with these houses. It's kind of cool. It's cool to revisit like the actual IP and whatever they have, but it's also cool to kind of dive a little deeper past that and see a little behind the scenes, or a little deeper into the other worlds that we don't get to explore in the movie. So we actually got to go to Krampus's underground lair, which had a lot of like cool little stuff to look at, a lot of trinkets, a lot of Easter eggs to like former Halloween Horror Night houses, if I'm not believe. And I think it had like a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. The thing with this is you don't see Krampus in this video at all. He's in the house, but I do believe he's kind of like near the end, like he's like the last scare or so. And they added him, I want to say after opening weekend, because I believe this video was taken opening weekend, and they either didn't have Krampus or they missed him in this video, but he was in the house, but he was only in there, I think, like once or twice. I'm not the biggest fan of Krampus, the movie, so going through the house, it was okay. I think for me, and what I remember going through this house was like, at first I was like, oh, I like it. And then every time I kept going through it more and more and more, and especially towards the end of the run, it just depressed. It got to be a terrible house for me as far as the run throughs. And that is it for this HHN commentary on the Orlando Krampus maze. If you enjoy these kind of type of videos, let us know. Leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I have been your host on this video, Zombie Chris, and stay tuned for more commentaries. It doesn't just have to be Halloween Horror Nights. It can be King's Dominion. We got Six Flags. We got Knott's. We got Busch Gardens, Hollow Scream. So plenty of these are going to be on the way. But that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the support on the channel. I will see you on another video very soon. Stay spooky, guys and girls.